I wish I could stop that guy. I wish that guy died, but talkers get all the money. Talkers get all the attention.
Yeah.
Talkers get everything. We get a bad rap, but we get everything else.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson just pulled off something so insane against Jake Paul that it's completely changed the boxing scene. From the very start, we all saw Jake strutting around like he was the king of the ring, absolutely sure he was going to beat Tyson without breaking a sweat. And let's be real, people were losing their minds, wondering why Tyson wasn't clapping back at all of Jake's nonsense. But here's the thing, Tyson isn't just some loudmouth ready to jump in at the first insult. Nah, he's the guy who waits for the perfect moment, whether it's knocking out an opponent in the ring or putting a YouTuber in his place outside of it. And this was a move Tyson had clearly been brewing for months. And now we've got Jake Paul out here acting like someone stole his lunch money, all teary-eyed and dramatic. And for the tiniest second, I was like, wait, is this guy actually sad? But let's be real, those tears aren't fooling anybody. He looks like a kid who's just realized he's in way over his head. Sure, he's got that innocent puppy dog face going, but don't be fooled. This guy knows exactly what he's doing, and he is the same who once said,
"You heard it right, mother. I'm fighting Mike Tyson."
Jake's been playing the game for 4 years now, strutting around the boxing world like he owns the place, without an ounce of respect for anyone who's been doing this longer than he's been alive. He's always been that loud, cocky guy who thinks he can out-talk, outsmart, and outbox everyone. And now, when the tables have turned, he's pulling out the waterworks? Nah, we're not buying it, Jake. We've seen this show before, and it's getting old. Isn't this whole Jake Paul saga starting to feel like a bit much? I mean, here we are, looking at his record, 11 fights, and the guy's somehow bagged 10 wins, with 7 of those coming by TKO. On the surface, it's like he's the next big deal in boxing, right? Just steamrolling his way through the ring, leaving a trail of knocked-out opponents like it's no biggie. But let's be real for a second. You dig a little deeper, and things start to look a tad suspicious. People aren't exactly lining up to give him high fives. They're scratching their heads, wondering if these wins are as clean as they seem. I mean, come on, 7 TKOs in a row? That's starting to feel like a movie script, not real life. It's almost too perfect, and it's got the boxing world whispering. Are these victories more about what's going on behind the scenes than what's happening inside the ring? And then there's the Mike Perry drama, because of course there is. The second their fight was over, the rumor mill went into overdrive. Talks of bribery, corruption, you name it. Did Jake really pull some strings to keep those TKO wins stacking up? People are asking if there's some extra motivation behind all these sudden knockouts. And let's not forget, Jake wasn't exactly in his best shape during that fight, something Perry was quick to point out. The guy was carrying a bit of extra weight, and yet he's still out here claiming victory? Yeah, it all sounds a little too fishy, doesn't it?
185, I'm damn near perfect here. Perfect platinum at 185. So Darren Till, he ain't gonna answer that call because he had time off too. Jake Paul, 230 pounds. Do I need to put some weight on and go fight somebody? You know, who? I'll fight anybody. Bare knuckle, they won't come do it with me. So what do I gotta do a star is born. I'm in Hollywood right now, bro. Put me in the movies. Don't nobody want the smoke.
It honestly feels like we've stepped straight into the plot of a cheesy sports flick, doesn't it? But hey, in the wild world of boxing, where money and fame are the real MVPs, you start to realize that anything can happen. And the fact that these rumors are even floating around is enough to cast a seriously shady cloud over Jake's so-called glorious winning streak. Winning fair and square is one thing, but when whispers about shady backroom deals and rigged fights start circulating, you know the whole thing starts to stink. Suddenly, it's not just about being the best fighter in the ring, it's about whether the fight was even legit to begin with. Now let's break down what a TKO really means for those who might be scratching their heads. A TKO, or technical knockout, is basically when the referee steps in and waves the white flag on behalf of the fighter. Maybe the guy's not defending himself properly, or maybe he's taken more hits than a piñata at a birthday party. Whatever the reason, the ref decides it's game over before someone gets seriously hurt. But here's where things start to get a little sketchy. You've got Dana White chiming in saying,
"Yeah, this guy's got 3 fights. He's got 3 fights again, you know." And I got to tell you, I don't know if I truly believe the Ben Askren thing. I have a hard time wrapping my brain around that. But yeah, It's interesting. Yeah. It's going to see how long it takes before this kid's 15 minutes is up.
Unlike a classic KO, where a fighter's flat on the canvas and not getting up anytime soon, a TKO is really all about the ref's call. And when it comes to Jake Paul's fights, people are starting to wonder if these refs might be calling it a little too early. It's like they're jumping in with their whistles before the other guy even gets a proper shot to fight back. And meanwhile, Jake's just standing there, collecting wins like he's shopping at a discount store, barely breaking a sweat. Sure, it looks good on paper, but everyone's side-eyeing those W's. But the drama doesn't stop in the ring. Oh no, Jake's got himself another fight, and it's with public opinion. And let me tell you, that's one opponent he's not winning against anytime soon. Instead of owning up to the criticism or, actually addressing the rumors, Jake's over here trying to play the sympathy card. He's throwing out lines like, "I lose faith in my generation and my peers and like us as a society and a world just when I see that type of stuff and that type of stupidity. Yeah, it just sucks."
I lose faith in my generation and my peers and like us as a society and in a world just when I see that type of stuff and that type of stupidity. Yeah, it just sucks.
Seriously, Jake? You're really out here blaming society for not falling for your little sob story? That's like pulling out the oldest trick in the book. Play the victim, act like the world's against you, and hope everyone just forgets about all the shady business swirling around. It's almost like he's trying to distract us with his woe is me routine while we're all sitting here, side-eyeing the whole situation. And of course, because Jake can never just stop there, he keeps piling on with lines like, "It sucks me that I work so hard for this, like I dedicate everything, sacrifice everything every single day, bust my balls, have a 15-person team working around the clock to help me." Okay, Jake, we get it. You're out here grinding, putting in the hours, talking about how hard you're working. But here's the thing. All the hard work in the world doesn't magically erase the fact that something smells fishy with all these TKOs conveniently landing in your lap. It doesn't change the fact that your opponents aren't exactly getting laid out cold, yet the refs seem to be handing you wins like it's some kind of giveaway.
Day 3, you still want to with me? 1, 2, 3, 4.
August, I'm back, baby. Get it.
And let's be real for a second. This isn't just another match for Tyson. This is Mike Tyson stepping back into the ring, not as some old legend chasing a quick paycheck, but as a force to be reckoned with, a living powerhouse who still demands respect. Meanwhile, Jake, with all his loudmouth antics and his social media stunts, has no idea what he's gotten himself into. This isn't some flashy YouTube stunt. This is the real deal. And Tyson? He's here to remind everyone exactly what real boxing is supposed to look like. One of the biggest beefs Tyson has with Jake, and let's be honest, there's plenty to choose from, is this whole obsession Jake has with TKO victories. Tyson's been pretty clear about how much he despises that kind of win. In an interview back on August 12, 2024, Tyson didn't hold back, calling TKO wins exactly what they are, a cop-out. In his own words, he straight up said that TKOs are just a way to dodge the real test of a fighter's grit. To Tyson, a TKO is like winning by default. Like the fight gets cut off right when things are about to get good. The ref jumps in and boom, fight over before anyone really gotten down to business.
The shit talkers get all the money. The shit talkers get all the attention.
Yeah.
The shit talkers get everything. We get a bad rap, but we get everything else.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at Jake's record, with 7 out of his 10 wins being TKOs, Tyson's not impressed. He's not buying the hype for a second. In his eyes, it's not a sign of dominance or skill. It's more like a red flag. To Tyson, a real victory means your opponent is flat on the canvas, staring at the ceiling, with zero chance of getting back up. That's how you know you've won. No room for debate, no shortcuts, anything less? Well, it's just not the real deal in Tyson's world, and Jake's streak of TKO wins. Let's just say Tyson's not exactly putting that on a pedestal. And this new KO-only rule has Jake absolutely sweating bullets. The guy was strutting around like he was invincible, talking a big game. But then Tyson swooped in with this rule change, and boom, reality just smacked Jake right in the face. Now, word on the street is that his camp is freaking out. And honestly, can you blame them? Jake's entire career has been built on those TKO wins where the ref swoops in and saves the day just when things are about to get dicey. But now, with this knockout-only rule, Jake's got to step up in a way he's never had to before. This isn't just about landing a few lucky punches and waiting for the ref to call it. Nope, this is about delivering the kind of knockout punch that leaves no doubt. It's raw power, precision, and let's be real, a whole lot of guts. Something Jake's never really had to prove. But of course, Tyson didn't just stop there. Oh no, he's cranking up the heat even more with another curveball, random drug testing. Yep, you heard that right. On August 26, 2024, Tyson casually dropped the news that Jake would be hit with completely random drug tests just 1 week before the fight. And for Jake, this has got to be a full-blown nightmare. He's already sweating over the KO rule, and now he's got to deal with random drug tests? The guy's got to be wondering what he got himself into. And you know who is stirring the pot even more at this point? Dana White, of course, grabbing Tyson's attention and throwing in his 2 cents.
I believe that you're a cheater, and I believe that you use steroids. So I want to randomly steroid test you.
Jake's been under the microscope for months now, with everyone whispering about whether his physique and stamina are as natural as he claims. And now, with the possibility of a random drug test hanging over him, the guy's got nowhere to run. No sneaky prep, no cheating the system, just pure uncertainty, which is probably eating him alive. The fact that he could be tested at any moment? Yeah, that's got to be shaking him to his core. And the way he responded to it? Well, let's just say it didn't exactly scream confidence.
Be in good shape because your health depends on it.
Tyson's not just throwing these concerns out there for the drama. He's been paying attention, and Jake's not looking like the chiseled fighter we all saw a couple of years ago. Nope, lately, Jake's been more about the parties and hanging off the arms of his security guards than grinding it out in the gym. His physique? Let's just say it's a little softer around the edges these days. And don't even get me started on his stamina. Fans are starting to catch on that Jake's not the machine he once pretended to be. Tyson knows it, we know it, and deep down, Jake probably knows it too.